Hello and welcome to Theology Still Matters. My name is William Hemsworth, and thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode. We're continuing our series on Christology, which is the study of the nature and person of Christ. And today we're going to look at what the early church father Tertullian believed in regarding the divinity of Jesus, the person of Jesus. Within the Blessed Trinity, the three persons of the Godhead, they are distinct, but they're united in nature. And throughout history, many have tried to explain the Trinity in no shortage of ways. In many ways, they've tried to explain it. One example is St. Patrick, who used the popular description of the three-leaf clover. Now, in the earliest days of the church, there was a theologian by the name of Tertullian, and he laid out a theory which became known as Stoic Materialism. So, one purpose of this podcast, we're going to define this term, and we're also going to look at how it led to subordinationism in his Christology. Now, Tertullian was hugely influential in defending and developing doctrine in the early church. During his time, he opposed positions of monarchianism and pagan polytheism. And the latter pagan polytheism set forth that only one person is God, and because of this, it was actually the Father that was crucified. This position and Tertullian's retort can be followed very easily in his work titled Against Praxeas. He also opposed pagan polytheism, which held to the view that the incarnation could only be possible if there were more than one God. And I'm sorry, the first position that I was talking about was monarchianism. My apologies. Got tongue twisted there for a moment. So in response to pagan polytheism, Tertullian said that the Son was real but distinct and not a different God. The fact that Christ existed is a reality, and to this end he used the definition of a word that was found in Stoic philosophy. You see, Tertullian's meaning of reality took for granted the materialist notion found in Stoicism. If it is real, it is material or physical, and since Christ was composed of a material substance, he must exist. This material substance is what composes our souls and God, even though they are both invisible. When it comes to the rational principle of the universe, Tertullian feeds on the wisdom of St. Justin Martyr. He calls the Son the eternal Logos, but he also becomes the Logos when the Father speaks. Tertullian describes this type of relationship as being like a ray of sunshine emanating from the sun. In Tertullian's view, Father and Son are united in the Stoic crasis, an inner penetration of spiritual material. The view of Tertullian led him into subordinationism, and subordinationism holds that Christ and the Holy Spirit are subordinate to the Father in nature and being. This can be seen in the way that Tertullian uses the metaphor of the sun and ray. Though Tertullian defended the deity of Christ, the idea of subordinationism would lead to further problems, and among them were outright challenges to Christ's divinity. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Theology Still Matters. There's a lot more that can be said about this topic, but I hope it's kind of interesting looking at what the early church believed, because our doctrines as we have them today weren't always fully, completely laid out back then. God bless you guys. Have a great day.